A style of office or honorific is an official or legally recognized title. A style, by tradition or law, precedes a reference to a person who holds a post or political office, and is sometimes used to refer to the office itself. An honorific can also be awarded to an individual in a personal capacity. Such styles are particularly associated with monarchies, where they may be used by a wife of an office holder or of a prince of their blood, for the duration of their marriage. They are also almost universally used for presidents in republics and in many countries for members of legislative bodies, higher-ranking judges and senior constitutional office holders. Leading religious figures also have styles. Examples of styles: academia, traditional forms of address at German-speaking universities, His/Her Magnificence a rector of a university, His/Her Notability a dean of a faculty, traditional forms of address at Dutch-speaking universities, His/Her Great Honour a rector magnificus of a university, highly learned Sir Madam a professor or dean of a faculty, well very learned Sir Madam a doctor, well learned Sir Madam a doctorandus, well strictly Sir Madam a master in laws or a university engineer, traditional forms of address at Italian-speaking universities. Magnificent rector a rector of a university, amplified headmaster, dean of a faculty, illustrious enlightened professor a full professor, government, diplomats, His Most Reverend Excellency a the Apostolic Nuncio, because his rank is equal to an extraordinary and plenipotentiary ambassador and he is simultaneously a higher prelate in a British form of address. His/Her Excellency a most ambassadors, high commissioners and permanent representatives to international organizations. Sometimes also the presidents of the republics, governors of provinces and the prime minister. The Honorable a U.S. ambassadors by Americans. Typically U.S. ambassadors are addressed as Your Excellency by non-U.S. citizens outside the United States. Judiciaries, His/Her Honour Judge X a Circuit Judges in England and Wales, the Honourable Mr/Ms Justice 10 a Judges of the High Court of Justice of England and Wales, the Right Honourable Lord Lady Justice X a Judge of the Court of Appeal of England and Wales, the Lord the Baroness X a Judges in the High Court of Justiciary and the Court of Session in Scotland, and the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom, the Honourable, Oral Address Your Honour, a Judges and Justices in the United States, Oral Address Your Excellency. A Judges of the International Court of Justice, Oral Address Your Worship a Justices of the Peace in the United Kingdom, usually by solicitors, Oral Address Your Worship a in Australia, Oral Address Your Honour a in Australia, monarchies. His/Her Imperial Majesty, a Emperors and Empresses. For example, HIM the Shah of Iran, or HIM the Emperor of Japan. His/Her Imperial and Royal Majesty a Emperors and Empresses who were simultaneously kings and queens, such as the German Emperor and Emperor of Austria. His/Her Apostolic Majesty a the King of Hungary, usually styled Imperial Majesty or Imperial and Royal Majesty as Emperor of Austria and King of Hungary, also sometimes Imperial and Royal Apostolic Majesty. His/Her Britannic Majesty a the British Monarch. Used as a formal and official term in diplomacy, the law of nations, and international relations. Used in British passports. His/Her Catholic Majesty a the King of Spain. His/Her Most Christian Majesty a the King of France. His/Her Most Faithful Majesty a the King of Portugal. His/Her Majesty a Kings, Queens and Sultans. For example, HM Queen Elizabeth II or HM King Willem-Alexander of the Netherlands. His/Her Imperial Highness a other members of an imperial house. His/Her Imperial and Royal Highness a Archdukes of the House of Habsburg, the German Crown Prince, German Crown Princess and members of the Brazilian imperial family. Also women with one style by birth and the other by marriage. His/Her Royal Highness a other members of a royal house not including the head of the house normally the monarch themselves, reigning Grand Duke, members of some Grand Ducal houses, some princes consort. For example, sons and daughters of a British sovereign for example HRH the Prince of Wales, HRH the Princess Royal, HRH the Duke of York and HRH the Earl of Wessex. And the current Prince Consort in all but name, HRH Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh. consort to H.M. the Queen. His Her Grand Ducal Highness junior members of some Grand Ducal houses. His Her Highness reigning dukes and members of reigning ducal houses, members of some Grand Ducal houses, junior members of some royal houses, emirs and sheikhs, also princes princesses of nobility in several European countries, not belonging to a royal house. For example, H.H. the Emir of Kuwait. His Her Ducal Serene Highness, abbreviation HDSH, oral address, Your Ducal Serene Highness members of some ducal houses. For example, the House of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. His Her Serene Highness sovereign or mediatized far 1/4 RST and his family This is a mistranslation from German der Klagt, the correct form should be His Her Serenity. For example, Grace Kelly on her marriage to the Sovereign Prince of Monaco became HSH the Princess Grace of Monaco or the Princess of Monaco. Some princely families in Imperial Russia also enjoyed this style. His Her Illustrious Highness sovereign or mediatized Count and his family, also a Count of Imperial Russia This is a mistranslation too, from German Erlaucht. It should be correctly His Her Illustriousness. The Highborn Counts, barons in several European countries, and also marquises and viscounts in the Netherlands and Flanders, His Her Grace peers of the Polish Lithuanian Commonwealth, and dukes duchesses of the United Kingdom. The high well-born knights and untitled noble persons in several European countries, and also barons in the Netherlands and Flanders, His Her Excellency governors-general and British colonial governors, state officials and generals of Imperial Russia. His Her High Excellency top state officials and generals in Imperial Russia, and also Einfoft counts in Denmark. The English-style Serene Highness and even more Illustrious Highness goes back to an incorrect translation. These styles originally did not exist in English-speaking countries. His Her Serene Highness German, Seine der Klagt. Italian, Sua Altezza Serenissima. Russian, TH degree NTH squared TH micron NTH 3/4 NNO. His Her Illustrious Highness German, Seine Erlaucht. Italian, Sua Altezza Illustrissima. Spanish, Sua Illustrissima. Russian, TH degree NTH micron NTH NNTH micron TH no NNTH squared TH 3/4. Styles and titles of deposed monarchs. General tradition indicates that monarchs who have been deposed, but have not abdicated, retain the use of their style and title for the duration of their lifetimes, but both die with them. Hence Greece's deposed king is still technically His Majesty King Constantine II of the Hellenes, as a personal title, not a constitutional office, since the abolition of the monarchy by the Hellenic Republic in 1974. Similarly, until his death, the last king of Italy, Umberto II, was technically entitled to be called His Majesty the King of Italy or Your Majesty. In contrast, the ex-King Michael I of Romania, who abdicated his throne in 1947, technically lost the use of his title, though out of politeness, he may still be called His Majesty King Michael or Your Majesty. While this rule is generally observed, and indeed some exiled monarchs are allowed diplomatic passports by their former state, other states take offense at the use of such titles. The current Hellenic Republic has long challenged King Constantine's right to use his title. In 1981, the then Greek President Konstantinos Karamanlis declined to attend the wedding of the Prince of Wales when it was revealed that Greece's deposed monarch, a cousin of the prince, had been referred to as king in his invitation. However, King Constantine now travels in and out of Greece without any problems, on a Danish royal passport, and has done so several times in the past few years. Because of the European Union's freedom of movement provisions, the Greek government cannot refuse him entry. Republics, His Her Excellency Presidents of Republics, the President of the United States is directly addressed as Mr. President, and introduced as the President of the United States. The custom in France is to call office holders acting within their official capacity M. or MME followed by the name of their offices. Thus, the President of the Republic is called M. le Pra copyright President, or M. le pra copyright Cident de l'art copyright public if a male, Madame. If a female. This may occasionally lead to confusion in situations when there are presidents of various bodies. Styles such as Excellency, or similar are not used, except for talking about foreign dignitaries. In some countries, citizen may be used instead of Mr. or Miss. In Italy, members of the lower house of the parliament are styled deputy, it. Deputato. The correct form to address a member of the upper house is senator, it. Senator. Incumbent president of Finland is addressed Herra Ruva Tasavallan Presidentti, while the former president is addressed as Herra Ruva Presidentti. Medicine, Doctor a doctors, general practitioners, Mr. Ms. a surgeons after completion of MRCS, nautical and aeronautical, captain a person who commands and is responsible for the lives of crew and passengers on a naval or civil vessel or aircraft, religious. His Holiness, or an address Your Holiness, or Holy Father a the Pope and the Pope Emeritus. His All Holiness, or an address Your All Holiness a the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople. His Holiness, or an address Your Holiness a the Patriarch of Moscow and all Russia, Patriarch of P and the Serbs, Catholicos of all Armenians, Catholicos Patriarch of all Georgia, Catholicos of the Holy See of Cilicia of the Armenian Apostolic Church, Malankara Orthodox Catholicos and some other patriarchs of the Christian Church. His Holiness, or an address Your Holiness a the Dalai Lama, the Panchen Lama, the Karmapa, the Sakya Trizin, and other holders of certain other Tibetan Buddhist lineages. His Highness the Aga Khan, or an address Your Highness and then Sir a the Imam of the Shia Ismaili Muslims. His Beatitude or the Most Blessed, or an address Your Beatitude a Eastern Orthodox, Oriental Orthodox and Roman Catholic Patriarchs, Macedonian Orthodox Church and the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Major Archbishop of Kiev Halych. If they have been elevated to the cardinalate by the Pope, they use the traditional His Eminence like other cardinals. His Eminence, or an address Your Eminence or Most Reverend Eminence a Roman Catholic Cardinals, His Eminence or the Most Reverend, or an address Your Eminence a Eastern Orthodox Metropolitans and Archbishops who are not the first hierarch of an autocephalous church. His Eminence, certain High Lamas or Rinpoches in Tibetan Buddhism as well as presiding head bishops or priests of Japanese Buddhist schools. His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, spiritual leader of Nigeria's Muslims, as well as those of his fellow Fula high chiefs that choose not to style themselves as HRHs. His Excellency or the Most Reverend, or an address Your Excellency a Roman Catholic archbishops and bishops in the USA. Or, His Grace or the Most Reverend, or an address Your Grace a Roman Catholic archbishops in Commonwealth countries. And Roman Catholic bishops in Ireland, Martoma Metropolitans, His Grace or the Right Reverend, or an address Your Grace a Eastern Orthodox bishops. Kabbalisi, variously translated as His or Her Royal Majesty, His or Her Royal Highness or His or Her Highness, lit. The one whose words are beyond question, the Obas of Yorubaland, other Aboriginal Yoruba high chiefs of royal background, and their counterparts in the tribe's diaspora communities. His Lordship or the Right Reverend, or an address My Lord a Anglican and Roman Catholic bishops in Commonwealth countries. The Most Reverend and Right Honourable, or an address Your Grace a Church of England archbishops who are privy councillors, usually the archbishops of Canterbury and York, the Most Reverend, or an address Your Grace a Anglican archbishops, primates, metropolitans and presiding bishops. Also moderators. The Most Reverend, or an address My Lord a Church of Ireland Bishop of Meath and Kildare, the Most Reverend, or an address Presiding Bishop a the Presiding Bishop of the Methodist Church Ghana, the Most Reverend, or an address Bishop a the Presiding Bishop of the Episcopal Church, the Right Reverend and Right Honourable Monsignor, or an address Monsignor, or according to personal preference a Prelate of Honour who is also a Privy Councillor. The Right Reverend and Right Honourable, or an address My Lord or Bishop a Church of England bishops who are members of the Privy Council, usually the Bishop of London. The Right Reverend, or an address My Lord or Bishop a other Church of England bishops, the Right Reverend, or an address Bishop a Bishops Episcopal Church, the Right Reverend a Euro Moderator of the United Church of Canada, the Right Reverend Father, or an address Father a Euro Eastern Orthodox Archimandrites. The Right Reverend, or an address Father or Father Abbot a Euro Roman Catholic Abbots. The Right Reverend, or an address Bishop a Euro Diocesan Bishop of the Methodist Church Ghana, Bishop, or an address Bishop a Euro an area Bishop in the United Methodist Church. The Right Reverend has never been pervasive in the United Methodist Church. The Very Reverend, or an address Father a Euro Catholic Vicars General, Judicial Vicars, Judges, Rectors of Seminaries, Vicars Foreign, Episcopal Vicars, General Superiors of Religious Orders of Priests, Provincial Superiors, Priors of Monasteries or Friaries, the Very Reverend Father, or an address Father a Euro Eastern Orthodox Archpriests, the Very Reverend, or an address Mr. Dean or Mr. Provost, as appropriate, or Very Reverend Sir a Euro Anglican Deans and Provosts of Cathedrals, the Deans of Westminster Abbey and St. George's Chapel, Windsor, and, for historical reasons, a few parish priests, such as the Dean of Bocking. Sometimes an Anglican cathedral dean has previously been a bishop, in which case he is styled as a bishop, except that on formal occasions he may be addressed, Mr. Dean. The Very Reverend, or an address Very Reverend Sir or Mr. Dean a Euro Deans of some Anglican seminaries, especially those in the USA, the Very Reverend, or an address So Sopho Panin a Euro Superintendent Minister in the Methodist Church Ghana, the Very Reverend, or an address Reverend a Euro Former Moderators of the United Church of Canada, the Reverend Monsignor, or an address Monsignor a Euro Catholic Church Proton Notaries Apostolic, Honorary Prelates, Chaplains of His Holiness, the Venerable, or an address Venerable Sir or Mr. Archdeacon a Euro Anglican Archdeacons, Venerable, or an address Venerable, or Venerable name or title a Euro Fully Ordained Buddhist. Monks and Nuns, the title of Venerable Master or Most Venerable is sometimes appended for senior monks and nuns or monks/nuns acting in their capacity as an abbot/abbess of a monastery, the Reverend and Right Honourable a Euro Protestant ordained ministers who are members of the Privy Council, the Reverend the Honourable, or an address according to ecclesiastical or other status a Euro ordained son of an Earl, Viscount, or Baron, or ordained daughter of a Viscount or Baron, the Very Reverend, or an address, Overseer a Euro in the Anglican Apostolic Communion tradition, the Overseer is the lowest level of prelate, with oversight to a specific work or department, directly responsible to the primate presiding bishop or a bishop. The Reverend a Euro Protestant ordained ministers, as used in American English. C. The Reverend. Some Jewish cantors also use this style. Almost all Buddhist ministers in Japan use this style. The Reverend Canon, or an address Canon a Euro Catholic and Anglican canons, the Reverend Doctor, or an address Father or Doctor a Euro priests and other ordained clergy with a doctorate, the Reverend Father, or an address Father a Euro Catholic priests, the Reverend Mother, or an address Mother a Euro abbesses, the Reverend Deacon, or an address Deacon Catholic permanent deacons. The Reverend Mr., or an address Deacon a Euro Catholic transitional deacons, that is those preparing for priesthood. Transitional deacons belonging to religious orders are titled Reverend Brother, Mother, or an address Mother a Euro heads of some female Catholic religious convents and other communities who are not abbesses, Mr., or an address Mr. a Euro Catholic Sulpician priests, Mr., or an address often Mr. a Euro Catholic seminarians and scholastics of some religious orders, Brother, or an address Brother a Euro Catholic members of religious orders under vows who are not priests, Sister, or an address Sister a Euro Catholic members of religious orders under vows who are not abbesses, Grand Rabbi, or an address Rabbi a Euro Hasidic rabbis, who are scions of a Hasidic dynasty, Rabbi, or an address Rabbi a Euro rabbis, Grand Ayatollah, or an address Ayatollah or Ayatollah al-Azma a Euro Shia Ayatollahs, who have accomplished the highest religious jurisprudent knowledge degree called as Ishad and some people officially follow them. Ayatollah, or an address Ayatollah a Euro Shia religious degree who has accomplished a religious high course of lessons and is capable of individually issuing religious verdicts. Cantor, or an address Cantor a Euro Jewish cantors, Reverend, or an address Reverend, Mr. or Brother a Euro ordained ministers Pastors, Pastor, or an address Pastor a Euro minister responsible for caring for the flock in most Christian churches, Pandit a Euro Hindu priests, Swami, in Hinduism an ascetic or yogi who has been initiated into a religious monastic order. Informally, Swamiji. Officers of the Salvation Army are addressed by their rank, for example, Captain, Major, etc. Styles in different countries. Commonwealth realms. Commonwealth Prime Ministers are usually addressed just as Prime Minister, but the form of address Mr. Prime Minister is also often used in certain countries. Mr. Prime Minister remains a common form of address in international diplomacy. Prime Minister alone remains more common within domestic politics. Legislative bodies, the Right Honourable Member for a Euro-British and some Commonwealth countries MPs who are Privy Councillors, some Commonwealth realm Prime Ministers, the Honourable Member for, in the United Kingdom, Members of Parliament who are not Privy Councillors when being referred to in the Chamber of the House of Commons. Outside the House of Commons members who are not entitled to another style or title are styled as, for example, John Smith, Esquire, MP. Or Mr. John Smith, MP. In Australia, members of the Federal Executive Council. In Canada, members of the Parliament of Canada who are not ministers or secretaries. Senator. A Euro in some Commonwealth countries whose upper house is called the Senate. Local government, the Right Honourable a Euro Lord Mayors of London, Cardiff, Belfast, York and Bristol. Lord Provosts of Edinburgh and Glasgow. And Lord Mayors of all state capital cities of Australia, the Right Worshipful a Euro all other Lord Mayors and Mayors of cities in the original Cinque Ports, and Lord Mayors of Darwin, Newcastle and Wollongong and Mayor of Geelong in Australia, the Worshipful a Euro all other mayors or other municipal governors, His Her Worship a Euro municipal leaders in Commonwealth realms. Australia, His Her Majesty a Euro the King or Queen of Australia, His Her Excellency a Euro Governor-General and his or her spouse, and all state governors, the Honourable a Euro all current and former Governors-General and Administrators of the Northern Territory, Justices of the High Court of Australia, the Federal Court of Australia, the Family Court of Australia and State Supreme Courts, the Honourable a Euro all current and former members of the Federal Executive Council and all current members of State Executive Councils and certain former members of State Executive Councils and long-serving members of State Legislative Councils that have been given the right to keep the title by permission of the Governor of that state. The Right Honourable, His Her Honour a Euro Magistrates and Judges in Appellate, District and County Courts. The Right Honourable the Lord Mayor, His Her Worship, His Her Grace, His Eminence, Canada. His Her Majesty a Euro King Queen of Canada, His Her Excellency a Euro Governor-General, Vice-Regal Consort, Ambassadors, and High Commissioners in Office, the Right Honourable a Euro Governors-General, Prime Ministers, Chief Justices of Canada and certain eminent Canadians for life, His Her Honour a Euro Lieutenant Governors and Vice-Regal Consorts in Office, the Honourable, for life a Euro Members of the Queen's Privy Council for Canada, Senators and Lieutenant Governors, in office only a Euro Speaker of the Senate, Speaker of the House of Commons, Ministers of the Crown, Judges of Provincial Courts, Premiers of Provinces and Territories, Territorial Commissioners, and Provincial and Territorial Cabinet Ministers. Note, Members of Parliament are often referred to in the House of Commons as the Honourable Member for, but do not use the style Honourable with their name. The Honourable Mr. Madam Justice a Euro Chief Justices of Province and Justices of Superior Courts, His Her Worship a Euro Justices of the Peace, Magistrates and Municipal Leaders in Office, New Zealand, partial source, His Her Majesty a Euro King/Queen of New Zealand, His Her Excellency a Euro the current Governor-General. The Right Honourable a Euro the current and former Prime Ministers, the current and former Speakers of the Parliament of New Zealand, the current and former Chief Justices, the current and former Governors-General, and those who were appointed to the Privy Council prior to its abolition in 2003. The Honourable a Euro Ministers of the Crown, His Her Honour a Euro Judges of District Courts, His Her Worship a Euro Mayors of Territorial Authorities and Justices of the Peace. United Kingdom. The Most Noble or His Grace a Euro Dukes. Occasionally the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Archbishop of York and other archbishops are also styled His Grace. The Most Honourable a Euro Marquises, the Right Honourable a Euro Earl, Viscounts, Barons Lords of Parliament and members of the Privy Council Cabinet, the Right Honourable and Reverend as the previous explanation, but if the holder is also an ordained clergyman, the Right Honourable and Learned as the previous explanation, but if the holder is also a Queen's Counsel, the Right Honourable and Gallant as the previous explanation, but if the holder is also a serving military officer, the Honourable youngest sons of earls, all children of viscounts and barons lords of Parliament, the much honoured Scottish lairds and feudal barons, styles existing through marriage, royal styles. Styles can be acquired through marriage, though traditionally this applies more to wives of office holders than to husbands. Thus, in the United Kingdom, the Princess Royal is styled Her Royal Highness. Her husband, Sir Timothy Lawrence, bears no courtesy style merely by virtue of being her husband. In contrast, when Sophie Rhys-Jones married Prince Edward, she became HRH the Princess Edward, Countess of Wessex, and automatically acquired an HRH, by virtue of her marriage to a royal prince who was the son of the British monarch. As only those males in the royal line of succession receive royal titles. As the British monarchy currently operates on the basis of a male primogeniture. That is one whereby males have preference over females in succeeding to the peerage or title. On this occasion, HRH the Countess of Wessex, shares all of the titles that her husband bears, and the only difference being she exercises the female derivatives of these said titles. This gender differentiation continues into the next generation in traditional royal families. Thus, while the sons of the Prince of Wales and the daughters of the Duke of York have HRH styles, the children of the Princess Royal have no styles. Styles and titles can terminate when a marriage is dissolved. Diana, Princess of Wales, held the style Her Royal Highness or HRH during her marriage to HRH the Prince of Wales and the title Princess of Wales. Her marital status was indicated by the title Princess of Wales. When the couple divorced, she lost her style but not her title, which had existed only by virtue of her marriage to the Prince of Wales. She became instead Diana, Princess of Wales, although she was still entitled to the style of lady as the daughter of an earl. But because the princely title of princess outweighed that of lady, she was known by the former and not the latter. Irrespective of the marriage, she was a former royal princess and still held the title of Princess of Wales until her death. The title Princess of Wales not preceded by a definite article indicated that she was a former Princess of Wales. When applied to the current Princess of Wales, the style includes a definite article. If she had remarried, then the style Princess of Wales would also have lapsed. Similarly, because HRH the Prince of Wales has remarried to Camilla Parker Bowles, she is officially HRH the Princess of Wales, but because of the widespread use of the title and recognition of it by the British people formerly used by Diana, Princess of Wales, she uses the lesser title derived from her husband's Duchy of Cornwall and is known as HRH the Duchess of Cornwall, although she is legally also HRH the Princess of Wales. Whilst there was the option of giving the HRH style to Diana, Princess of Wales, in her personal capacity, it was decided not to give her the style. From the divorce until her death in 1997, Diana ceased to hold any royal style. Similarly, when Sarah, Duchess of York, was divorced from her husband, HRH the Duke of York, she too lost her HRH style but retained her ducal title of Duchess of York. In 1936, Wallis Simpson was not given the royal HRH style by George VI when she married his older brother, the former Edward VIII, by then known as HRH the Duke of Windsor. There was no precedent for a Dvorka copyrightee marrying a member of the royal family, let alone a former king, and it was feared that, if the couple divorced, she would lose the style but could conceivably still try to use it anyway, thus undermining its status, as she would still be known as the Duchess of Windsor irrespective of her divorce from HRH the Prince Edward, Duke of Windsor. Examples of non-royal styles: Lady Edward Smith, a wife of the son of a duke or marquis; Lady Elizabeth Smith, a daughter of a duke, marquis or an earl; Lady Smith, a wife of Baron Smith; Lady Smith, a wife of Sir Edward Smith. Or unmarried widow, divorced wife of Sir Edward Smith; Dowager Lady Smith, a deceased baron's widow; Elizabeth, Lady Smith, a deceased baron's ex-wife; the Viscountess Smith, a wife of Viscount Smith; the Dowager Lady Smith, a Viscount's widow. Hong Kong, The chief executive is styled as the Honorable. Certain senior government officials, President of the Legislative Council, members of the Executive Council, and members of the judiciary are also styled as the Honourable. Ireland. In Ireland, holders of offices with Irish names are usually addressed in English by its nominative form, though the Irish vocative forms differ. The President may be styled His Her Excellency and addressed Your Excellency, or simply President. The titles Minister and Senator are used as forms of address. Only the latter as a style. A TD is formally addressed and styled as Deputy, though often simply Mr., Mrs., etc. Similarly, county and city councillors can be addressed as Councillor, abbreviated CLLR, which is used as a written style, but are just as frequently addressed as Mr., Mrs. etc. Malaysia, His Her Majesty the Supreme King and Supreme Queen. His Her Royal Highness the state rulers, their consorts, the regents and their consorts. Her Highness former monarch consort and royal family members. His Her Excellency the heads of states, ambassadors and high commissioners. The Right Honourable Prime Minister, Menteri Bisa, Chief Minister and their deputies. The Honourable State Chief Ministers Deputies, State Deputies Menteri Bisa, Federal and State Ministers and their deputies, Secretaries of State, State Finance Officers, and State Legal Councils. His Her Most Honour Chief Justice, Chief Judges and Appeal Court President. His Her Honour Judges, Justices, Judicial Commissioners, Attorney General and Prosecutors General. Sabah Samaha the State Muftis and sometimes, Grand Imam of the National Mosque. Sabah al-Fadhila the State Deputy Muftis, Qadhis, Grand Imam of the State Mosque and Islamic Affairs Officer to the Supreme King. His Her Noble Royal Professor. His Most Honourable the Bearer of Ton and their spouses. His Honourable the Bearer of Dataik, Siri and Tan Shri, and their spouses. Also usable for high-ranking officer. His Honourable Inspector General of Police, Deputy Inspector General, Commissioners of Police and Chief Police of State. His Most Faithful or His Faithful Army Officer with General to Lieutenant ranking. His Her Endeavour lower ranking officer. Morocco, His Majesty the King of Morocco. His Imperial Majesty the Sultan of Morocco. His Her Royal Highness Prince and Princess of Morocco. His Her Highness Prince and Princess of Morocco. Philippines, His Her Excellency, the President of the Philippines. The title in Filipino is Ang Mahal na Pangulo. The honorific for the President of the Philippines adopted from the title of the Governor-General of the Philippines during Spanish and American occupation. The President may be addressed as Your Excellency, or more informally as Mr. President, or Madame President. The Honorable, the Vice President of the Philippines, members of the Congress of the Philippines, Justices of the Supreme Court of the Philippines, Governors and Vice-Governors of provinces, Mayors and Vice-Mayors of cities or municipalities, and other elected officials. The title in Filipino is Ang Kagalingalang. Sir Madam, common and formal manner of address, Illustrious Knight, Sir Lady titles for members of the Order of the Knights of Rizal, the Philippines' only order of knighthood created by law. In the Sultanate of Sulub, the Sultan is addressed as Padukama Hoseri Maulana al-Sultan. Spain, His Her Majesty, the Monarch of Spain, when referred to as monarch. When referred to as head of state, he is usually styled His Excellency the Head of State. His Her Royal Highness the Prince of Asturias and the Infants. His Lordship Her Ladyship members of Parliament, judges. His Her Excellency spouses and children of the infants, grandees of Spain, ministers either from the central government or from autonomous government, as well as regional presidents. Mayors and town councils. His Her Illustriousness junior ministers either from the central government or from autonomous government. His Her Most Excellent and Magnificent Lord Rector of a University. Thailand, His Her Majesty, the King and Queen of Thailand. His Her Royal Highness, Prince and Princess of Thailand from Chao Pha to Phra Chao Warrawongs therefrom Chao. This style is also used for Princess Consort. His Her Highness, Prince and Princess of Thailand of the rank Phrawarawong their Phrawn Chau, which are born in the title as Mom Chau, whom the king later granted this higher title either as recognition of merit, or as a special favor. Her Serene Highness, Prince and Princess of title Mom Chauang is the most junior class still considered royalty. This is normally when surnames first appear among royal lineages. They are either children of a male Chau Fa and a commoner, children of a male Phrawn Chau. Informally, they are styled Than Chai. The Nying, the Honourable, Mom Rajawangs is the title assumed by children of male Mom Chau. The title is pronounced Mom Rajawong. Informally, they may be styled as Kun Chai. Q Nying, United States, current and former elected federal and state officials and judges in the U.S. are styled the Honourable, full name. In writing, many are addressed in conversation as Mr. Title, or Madam Title, or simply by plus name, along the lines of a British peer. Continued use of a title after leaving office depends on the office, those of which there is only one at a time are only officially used by the current office holder. However, titles for offices of which there are many concurrent office holders are retained for life. A retired U.S. Army general is addressed as general officially and socially for the rest of his or her life. Military retirees are entitled to receive pay and are still counted as members of the United States Armed Forces. Accordingly, all retired military ranks are retained for life pursuant to Title 10 of the United States Code. In the case of the U.S. President, while the title is officially dropped after leaving office for example, Dwight Eisenhower reverted to his prior style General Eisenhower in retirement it is still widely used. For example, Jimmy Carter is still often called President Carter. Judges are styled the Honourable, full name in writing. Judges are addressed orally in court as Your Honor, or as Judge Smith. Chief Justices of Supreme Courts are addressed orally as or Mr. or Madame Chief Justice, or Chief Justice. Associate Justices as Justice Jones, or Justice. Mayors are styled the Honourable, full name in writing. In municipalities, mayors are addressed in conversation as Your Honor this may be a vestige of the fact that the mayors were also magistrates of the court system. Her Excellency was once customarily used of governors of states, though this has given way to the Honourable, the form used to address all elected official in the United States. Her Excellency has continued in Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Commonwealth of Virginia and of the states of South Carolina, Georgia, New Hampshire, and Connecticut. Members of the House of Representatives are similarly styled in writing as the Honourable, full name. Orally they are traditionally addressed as Mr/Miss, name, but as a practice are sometimes addressed as Representative, name, or Congressman, name, when it is necessary or desirable to specify the member status. Follow the preference of the individual official. Following precedents in Westminster style of Parliament, when writing their own names, especially on stationery and franks, representatives have upon occasion followed their names with MC. Senators similarly are addressed in writing as the Honourable, full name, and orally as Senator Smith. Where representatives may have used MC, senators have used USS. However, neither form is currently used by members in Washington, D.C. On the actual floor of the Houses during debate, members commonly refer to one another as the gentleman/gentlewoman from such and such a state as my friend, the distinguished gentleman from Ohio, just said. Or I yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from New York, Mr. Smith. In debate, senators sometimes refer to colleagues as the junior or senior senator from a state, as in I disagree with my dear friend, the junior senator from Ohio. Senators also commonly use my friend from X, and the distinguished senator from X. While the term Esquire, abbreviated ESQ after the name, has no legal meaning in the U.S. and may be used by anyone, it is correctly used when addressing lawyers in correspondence as an indication of their profession. At least one American jurisdiction, the District of Columbia, limits the use of Esquire to licensed attorneys. Although some authorities previously urged that use of ESQ should be restricted to male lawyers, today the term is used for both male and female attorneys. The academic postnominal JD may be used by graduates of law schools who are not members of the bar of any state or who are working outside the legal profession. In academic fields, it is customary in the U.S. to refer to those holding any level of professorship as professor as in Professor Jones orally or in writing. In writing, professor is often abbreviated as Prof, as in Professor Jones. Those holding academic doctorates are frequently referred to as Dr. Jones. Military personnel of any functionality are always addressed by rank plus name. With the exception of chaplains, who are addressed as chaplain, and are addressed in writing with their rank in parentheses, for example Chaplain Jones. An exception to this is in the Navy, where in writing the rank is either not used, or is used before the person's name with the corps designator CHC indicating the officer is a chaplain put behind their name. For example Lieutenant George Bodell, CHC, USN. In the United States Navy there is an internal practice aboard ships that junior officers who are not in command may be addressed by their rank or as Mr. Miss X as in Lieutenant Junior Grade Smith, or Miss Smith. Junior officers are understood to be those of Lieutenant Commander and below. Senior officers are addressed by their rank as in Commander Smith, or Admiral Smith. While officially this manner of address is supposed to be from a senior rank to a junior rank, that is captain to lieutenant, in practice it is not unknown for enlisted personnel to refer to junior officers as Mr. as well. While commonly referred to by their rank, that is Seaman Fireman Petty Officer X or Chief X, in formal occasions, for example weddings, an enlisted man's full title is sometimes used, starting with their rating, then their rank, and their name, for example Electronics Technician Petty Officer 2nd Class X. When written, for example in formal invitations, the enlisted man's name is written as serviceman's name, Usnasorsk, without one's rank preceding their name, unlike commissioned officers. Former styles. All former monarchies had styles, some, as in the Bourbon monarchy of France, extremely complicated depending on the status of the office or office holder. Otto von Habsburg, who was Crown Prince of Austria-Hungary, had the style His Imperial and Royal Highness. He was last addressed as such by church figures during the funeral of his late mother, Empress Queen Zita of Austria-Hungary in 1989, although the use of these styles has been prohibited in Austria since 1920. For the styles of address to government officials in Imperial Russia, see Table of Ranks. The names of some offices are also titles, which are retained by the office holder for life. For example holders of titles of which there are many at the same time, such as ambassadors, senators, judges, and military officers who retire retain use of their hierarchical honorific for life. Holders of titles of which there is only one office holder at a time such as President, Chief Justice or Speaker revert to their previous honorific when they leave office out of deference to the current office holder. Other parallel symbols, styles were often among the range of symbols that surrounded figures of high office. Everything from the manner of address to the behavior of a person on meeting that personage was surrounded by traditional symbols. Monarchs were to be bowed to by men and curtsied to by women. Senior clergy, particularly in the Roman Catholic Church, were to have their rings kissed by laypersons while they were on bended knee, while cardinals in an act of homage at the papal coronation were meant to kiss the feet of the Supreme Pontiff, the Pope. Many of these traditions have lapsed or been partially abandoned. At his inauguration as Pope in 1978, Pope John Paul II himself kissed cardinals on the cheeks, rather than follow the traditional method of homage of having his feet kissed. Curtsies have for many years been no longer obligatory when meeting members of the British royal family. Indeed, some royal highnesses positively hate being curtsied to. One described the experience of a row of curtsying women, bobbing up and down, as leaving them seasick. Similarly, styles, though still used, are used less often. The former President of Ireland, Mary McAleese, was usually referred to as President Mary McAleese, not President McAleese, as had been the form used for the first 6 presidents, from President Hyde to President Hillary. Tony Blair asked initially to be called Tony. In a break with tradition, though as the second in line to the throne and a son of a royal prince, Prince William of Wales formerly has a HRH style, he chose while at university not to use it. The United States has become one of the most informal countries in the world, with styles such as excellency now largely abandoned or ignored, even by those who legally have them. First names, or even nicknames, are often widely used among politicians in the U.S., even in formal situations. One notable exception involves judges. A judge of any court is almost invariably addressed as Your Honor while presiding over his or her court, and often at other times as well. This style has been removed in the Republic of Ireland, where judges are addressed only as judge. However, styles are still widely used in formal documents and correspondence between heads of state, such as in a letter of credence accrediting an ambassador from one head of state to another. Self-styled. The term self-styled roughly means awarding a style to oneself, often without adequate justification or authority, but the expression often refers to descriptions or titles, rather than true styles in the sense of this article. A common example is medical practitioners styling themselves doctor, although not holding a doctorate. See also, title, suffix, v distinction, forms of address in the United Kingdom, notes. One Though the Republic of Ireland does not possess a Privy Council, the style is still used. The Lord Mayor of Dublin is still styled the Right Honourable, as previous Lord Mayors of Dublin were ex officio members of the former Irish Privy Council until its abolition in 1922. References, style, meaning and definitions. Random House Unabridged Dictionary. In full, Police 1997. Retrieved January 4, 2011. Definition of style. Oxford Dictionaries Online. Oxford University Press. 2010. Retrieved January 4, 2011. See substantive title, No. 4 of 2005. A Euro form of address. Practice directions. Magistrates Court of Tasmania. September 4, 2009. Retrieved January 4, 2011. Why are surgeons in the UK called Mr. rcseng.ac.uk, Style Guide. Episcopal Church. Retrieved June 17, 2013. Frequently Asked Questions. trinityambler.com. Retrieved June 17, 2013. Contact. Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia. 2011. Retrieved January 5, 2011. 1, 2, Philippine Constitution. C. For example, http, Wikipedia.org file, Congressional Frank 1921 T.S. Butler JPG. C. For example, http, Wikipedia.org file, Frank JPG. Ethics Opinion 344 inches. The District of Columbia Bar 2011. Retrieved January 5, 2011. Bundesrecht. Gesamtrechtsvorschrift Fahr 1/4 del Verfügungsgesetz. Federal Chancellery of Austria 2010. Retrieved January 5, 2011. External links, Table of titles to be used in Canada, Department of Canadian Heritage, Styles of Address, Department of Canadian Heritage, Forms of Address from Infolplice, Basic Forms from the Protocol School of Washington.